Hey guys, my name is Anthony and in today's video I'm going to be giving you my very first episode of my F1 2020 Drivers Career Mode series. So if you want to see more of these, make sure to hit the like button and the big red button down below to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month, which is crazy to me to say, but we're only 75 subscribers away from hitting that goal. So if you're not new and you're already subscribed, if you've got any friends that enjoy F1 2020 content as well, then direct them to the channel and tell them to hit that red button below. So as you can see, we're doing a Drivers Career Mode today and not on my team, and the reason for that is because I feel my team is too complex of a series to not have as the focal point of your channel. And to be honest with you, my team right now isn't the main thing that we're doing on the channel. The main things we're doing are league races, which we will be doing soon. The league racing seasons are starting up now, and tutorials / track guides and stuff along that nature. So having my team with all the little details that you need to think about as a secondary series, it's not really something I wanted to do. I just wanted to get in the car, drive and entertain you guys. So that's why we're doing a Drivers Career Mode series instead. So I hope that you guys can appreciate the fact that I've decided to just do this, which is a little bit more simple. I hope you guys really understand what I'm trying to do here. So yeah, I'm going to showcase the team that we're joining now, which as you can see in the background is the Alfa Romeo. So what I'm going to do is let the car reveal happen so that you can see the car, and then we'll sort of move forward with what happened during the weekend. So yeah, as you can see, we're driving on the Alfa Romeo, and I made a couple of upgrades throughout the weekend. We did the durability first, and then during free practice we did the aerodynamics and the chassis, and then after the race we did the power engine components. So let's move on now to the next cutscene.
Great, you're done with the technician's briefing. Look, I know we've got a lot to get through in FP1, but Will Buxton's been pushing for a quick interview before you head out on track. Don't worry too much, he's a good lad. He's just over there. These media appearances are important for a few reasons. They'll help build your profile and your brand. Plus, your team will get a real boost to their motivation if they hear you praising them. Will, as promised, sorry to keep you waiting.
Oh, mate, not a problem at all, not a problem.
Look, we've got to be out on track in about 5 minutes for FP1, so we can only spare you a couple of minutes max. Is that going to be enough time?
More than enough, we're already set up. Cool, let's go. We're used to seeing rookies in Formula One every year, but this season there's a youngster that's arrived with perhaps a little more interest in them than usual. And that's because while they've been successful at every level of their career, from karts all the way through to Formula 2, they've somehow managed to stay pretty much under the radar. They don't have that luxury anymore though. They're in Formula 1. Millions of people around the world watching their every move, both on and off the racetrack. So let's take some time to get to know them a little bit better. Really appreciate your time, but I know you're very keen to get on. Best of luck out there.
Okay guys, so the Drivers Career Mode is going to work a little bit differently. I'm just going to show qualifying and the race. We're not going to show any of the free practice business or anything like that. So coming straight into qualifying now, honestly, through the FP1 and FP2 and the qualifying, the car was just absolutely terrible to drive. I'm using the exact same setup that I put in my track guide, so if you want to see my track guide for Australia, then click the link at the top right hand side of the screen. But this car was just horrible to drive. There was a ton of understeer, ton of oversteer, even though you know, there wasn't really anything wrong with the setup, because I actually tested the setup with 3 different cars prior to me doing qualifying because of how bad the car was during free practice, and it all felt fine. So it was just the Alfa Romeo. For some reason the car was just terrible to drive. I wasn't expecting it to be as bad, but coming into the final couple of corners now, you can see we've put together a reasonably decent lap here. Again, I just wasn't used to the way that the car drove, and I didn't get used to it until the end of the race really. So yeah, we've got a 21.8 so far as a banker lap, but this second lap that I did is actually going to be the quickest lap that I did in qualifying, and I'll showcase why after that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to leave you guys here so that you can see a lap of Australia uninterrupted. So as we come into the final parts of Sector 3 now, it was a decent lap, to be fair. As you can see, we'd lock up going into the penultimate corner, and there was just a few mistakes that we did. We definitely could have found even more time here, and going into the final corner you can see the amount of understeer that we was really getting with the car. But we did manage to improve by a couple of attempts, and we did a 1 minute 21.6, sorry. Coming into the final run that we were improving by quite a lot, but I locked up going into the final corner, just broke a little bit too late, and well, this happened. So yeah, our race was pretty much over there, and we didn't actually make it into Q2. So we would have made it into Q2 if it wasn't for that, but sadly we didn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you guys here, and we're going to get into the race now.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at Albert Park, home of the Australian Grand Prix since 1996. And home to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. Here we are then, Formula One in 2020. The fight for the World Championship all starts here today. Mercedes on the hunt for a 7th consecutive title. They'll have Ferrari and Red Bull to contend with along the way. Williams struggled to find their feet last year. They'll be hoping for a stronger start this time around. And what I wonder of the Renault-powered cars. Will they be able to step forward, maybe even onto the podium on a regular basis? Plenty to discuss then with Anthony Davidson. He's out of hibernation too, and alongside me in the commentary box once again.
It's good to be back, Crofty. Let's hope for some good racing today. We can't know at this point how competitive these teams are relative to each other, but hopefully nobody is able to run and hide. We want to see these drivers pushing to the limit all the way to the checkered flag.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Albon, Ricciardo, Sainz, Ocon and Lando Norris, Perez, Stroll, Daniel Kvyat and Giovinazzi, Gasly, Grosjean, Iceman and Kevin Magnussen, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Okay guys, so as you can see now, we're just about to start the race. I think we've got a formation lap to do as well, and qualifying wasn't great. As you see now, on our final flying lap we ended up crashing right at the penultimate corner, which if we didn't crash there and we had completed the lap, we would have made it into Q2 and potentially gotten a better start on the grid than where we did. But we're currently 16th right now, so you know, there's a lot to do. I'm not really looking forward to this race, honestly, because the whole weekend this car has felt absolutely terrible to drive. There is a huge amount of understeer on the car. There's a huge amount of oversteer on the car as well. So I'm really not looking forward to this race. I hope that I don't crash out too early on, if at all. But moving on to the strategy, we're going to go with a different sort of strategy today. Actually, what I'm going to do is, if you guys watch League Racing, then you would have probably seen JARNO OPMEER's beautiful drive that he did the other day there, or yesterday I think. Absolute incredible drive. And he went from the mediums to the softs. So that's exactly what I'm going to do for this race. And hopefully we can catch some people off guard. I want to hopefully just get a little bit of just race experience with this car, because honestly I've not driven the Alfa Romeo at all when it comes to that. So let's get into the race and see what we can do. We've got the formation lap, so I'll see you guys after this. Alright guys, here we go. Hopefully this strategy works. We're going to be pretty slow off the line compared to everyone else around us, because they've got softs and we're the only ones on mediums, it seems. There we go. 2 lights, 3, 4, 5. And we're away. Oh, I just couldn't get the power down there. I've already lost 2 positions. Going slow through turn 1 as usual. I like to think that that was a pretty smart move there. I slowed down a little bit to get on the inside line so that I could get through everyone. Didn't get any damaged wing either, so that was pretty smart on my part, and we've made up a bunch of positions because of that. And we can still catch up Gasly here because of how slow the AI can be going into the first lap, so hopefully we can keep up with those guys. Being on the mediums, I do want to keep in front of some of these soft runners, just until their tyres start to go off, and then we can really start to sort of push and try and get a good race in here. Gonna have to use some of my overtake here to keep up with this little group. Group behind me is falling back, so there was damage. There was a wing that I saw fall off earlier, so it might have been Kevin Magnussen's. You have to be really careful with this car though, because as I said, the understeer and the oversteer on this car is pretty bad, as you can see there. And the thing is, I've not changed my setup. This is the exact same setup that I used in my track guide, and it works. It's just for some reason this Alfa Romeo car is just horrible to drive. It was so horrible that I even actually came out of the career mode whilst I was recording the, whilst I was doing the practice programs. I actually came out of the save, went into a race with the Mercedes and a Red Bull and Racing Point with the same setup, just to see if it was the setup just not being good anymore for some reason, or if it was the car. And honestly, on the other cars it felt alright, so it clearly is just the Alfa Romeo. I don't know if they've maybe done an update on the Alfa Romeo's performance, because when it comes to qualifying in particular, they have been the worst car. We're on lap 4 right now, guys, and honestly the car doesn't feel any better. Giovinazzi's sort of catching up, but at the same time he's not. He's been within this 1.7 for the last lap now, so I don't know if he's faster right now. Maybe we're just matching each other. We actually got a second warning there. We're definitely going to get a penalty in this one, because I just can't get used to the amount of understeer and oversteer that the car is really giving me here. Right, coming up to lap 6 now. Well, Gasly's pace, I just can't match Gasly's pace. He's on the soft tyres, so, and his car just, it looks better than mine, to be honest with you guys. However, my teammate, he is catching. Oh, there's our penalty. Oh, I knew the penalties were going to come soon. I just didn't know when. But right now, as I was saying before, he's on the softer compound of tyre, but we are keeping him within a respectable distance just outside of the DRS. So that definitely means that right now we're the quicker driver. So if I can just keep ahead of him, then the rest who are behind him will definitely not be able to catch us up, and you know, I can really make up a few positions with this strategy. So I'm gonna keep my head down for a few laps and see what we can do.
is 3.0 seconds. Gap to teammate behind is 1.8 seconds.
Right, I'm not sure how many laps it's been. I think it's been a couple of laps right now. And we've definitely kept Giovinazzi behind us. Pretty happy with that. It shows that we've got some good pace. And right about now should be around about the time when the softs are starting to drop off anyway. So that means we're going to get even further ahead of him. So the overcut on some of the guys behind is definitely looking very nice right now. And potentially getting a slight overcut on the guys ahead are also looking pretty nice, depending on when they pit and depending on how I can perform once they have pit, because I'm probably not going to be pitting until at least lap 17 or something like that.
The overtake button and have a go.
Right, moving on to lap 10 now. The softs are definitely going off. As you can see, some of the front runners have already pitted, and I can tell because Giovinazzi is falling even further behind, and Gasly is falling closer and closer to us as well. So we're gonna see them pit soon, and then we can really sort of try and push forward and see if we can amount to an overcut here. I definitely think that this strategy is gonna work well.
Okay, you're in the top 10.
There we go.
Antonio is coming in first.
Teammate's gone into the pits now. He went an extra lap longer than some of the other guys, so I don't know if maybe he was just trying to get into some clean air to do some pushing of his own, or if he was just worried about getting held. But either way, I think that's all the soft runners pit now. But it's just us medium tyre runners, me, Bottas and Kvyat. And then I think the rest are on hards right now. So we're definitely going to be on the quicker tyre come the end of the race. And here you go. Bottas has just pit, which actually puts us in the lead of the race right now. Obviously, we've not pit yet. We're going to pit in hopefully a couple of laps time now, depending on how these tyres hold up. But we're clearly doing alright, because even at the beginning here, we shouldn't really be leading a race, even if we are going long. So I definitely think our pace is okay right now. Alright guys, here we go, into the pits. There we go, got slowed down just enough. Let's see where we come out. I'm hoping to be at least closer to Gasly than we was before. So let's see.
Release, release.
Here comes Gasly. It doesn't look like we're going to be.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Okay, well, we've got some overtaking to do. Even our own teammate undercut this there. However, they're on the hard tyres, we're on the softs, so if we can catch them up within the next couple of laps, we can definitely gain a few positions back. Alright, catching up to Stroll now. I've used a lot of my ERS, especially on this lap, because I've been really pushing to get a fastest lap. Obviously, I'm not going to get into the points right now with the way that things are going, but it'll still be nice to say that I got the fastest lap of the race. Caught up to Stroll's DRS relatively easily there. There we go, 23.7.
Fastest lap of the race.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Did I just see that correctly? I did. The race leader, Lewis Hamilton, retires in the first race. I'm not sure what happened to the Mercedes there, but that's going to definitely throw a little bit of a spanner in the works. We're in the first race, obviously, so a lot can change. However, you wouldn't really expect someone like Lewis Hamilton to retire in the first race, so ooh, this could be a big start for one of the other teams to really amass a good amount of points. We're pulling a gap on the guys behind. We've also got that 3-second time penalty to really worry about. Alright, so I've been saving quite a good amount of fuel. Well, not a lot of fuel, but I've been saving quite a lot of ERS. And we're outside of the 3-second mark to Gasly. So as it stands, even with our penalty, we're still in 11th. Yeah, these softs aren't going to last for much longer though. We still got 5 laps to go. So it's really going to be about how I use the ERS that I've saved in the last couple laps that will really determine where we finish. Okay, so this has been an interesting development. So even with the saving of ERS and that, we've got into the DRS of Perez, I believe that's in front of us. Yeah. We're definitely not going to score points because we would still need to get 3 seconds ahead of Perez in order to be in 10th place. But it does mean that we're most likely going to secure 11th if we can stay inside the DRS of these 2 cars ahead of us, because we can really use that DRS to pull away from the guys behind us. So let's see if we can do that. Well, Valtteri Bottas has just taken the quickest lap of the race with a 23.6, so sadly I'm not going to get that. I mean, I wasn't going to get it anyway because I've still got that 3-second time penalty, so we're not going to be in the top 10. But it would have been nice to say that we got the fastest lap anyway. And there we go. Valtteri Bottas takes the Australian GP, which I'm assuming would have been won by Lewis Hamilton if he didn't retire. But as we come up to the final couple of corners now, going really wide there. But yeah, as we come up to the final couple of corners now, we're going to finish on track in 10th place. But with our 3-second time penalty, we're going to finish in 11th place. So pretty good race considering we started in 17th. So I'm pretty happy with that, guys.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way
Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Okay guys, so the final results was Valtteri Bottas in first place with the fastest lap, which gives him 26 points. And then we've got Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel on the podium. I'm sure that a lot of you Vettel fans in real life would love to see something like this. And then we've got Alex Albon, Verstappen, we've got Ricciardo, Sainz, Norris, Ocon, Perez, then myself, Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly, Kvyat, my teammate in 15th place, Grosjean, George Russell, Magnussen and Lewis Hamilton and Latifi being the retirees of this race. So if we'll go into the constructors, because the drivers are just going to be the exact same. Ferrari take the lead over Mercedes because of Lewis Hamilton's retirement. Red Bull in third place, and we're the highest position out of the teams that haven't scored anything. So hopefully we can sort of mix it up with McLaren and Racing Point. Just depends on how myself and Giovinazzi do. So what I'm going to do is, I think if we've got enough R&D points, I will go to the headquarters and upgrade the power engine component straight away, because I don't know if I may have shown you guys before, but we did do upgrades to the chassis and the aerodynamics. So I'll see you guys there. Okay then guys, so here we are at the headquarters now. I've already gone and done the R&D for the power engine component, just so that it's the last thing we really need to focus on. We've got, with this engine component upgrade, we will have the quickest engine on the grid, but it's mainly these two, the chassis and the aerodynamics, I'm really looking at to improve over the upcoming weeks on the game. So yeah, pretty much that's going to be it when it comes to this episode. If you're watching at this point, then I appreciate the fact that you're still here, and I appreciate the patience that you're having with the switch from my team to the driver's career mode. I really do appreciate that. And if you want to see more videos like this, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month, and we are around about 75 subscribers away from that. So let's see if we can do that, guys. So I once again appreciate the fact that you've been patient with me with the switch, and I'll see you guys in my next video.